Good evening. Welcome to the GP. Are you with me? Show live on the Karen Crow Bears Network and live from Pizzaville, USA. As we begin tonight's show, we're saddened by the passing of Karen Crow legend, longtime Bears fan, and recipient of the first ever Lifetime Achievement Award, Mr. Jimmy Brasa. Mr. Jimmy was 92 years old. We know that he was met with open arms by Miss Cat. Let's have a moment of silence and video tribute in honor of one of Karen Crow's finest.
No doubt about it. It's helped the whole community. When we went to the state championship in '92, it brought the whole community together. I care about the school, I care about the community, and I love the team.
You see Jimmy Brasseau's love for Karen Crow football in the sign outside his service station. You see it in the bear paws painted on his driveway.
I just went walking around the Crow Dome just the other day. I wanted to talk to the Golden Bear to hear what he had to say. I asked him how his life had been with all the hype and glory, and he replied, "It's been just fine, but you know all that story."
Well, Coach, fresh off the fourth straight victory of the year, 26-21 barn burner in the open air Crow Dome. I know it probably didn't go the way you expected or hoped, but it was one for the ages.
No doubt, man. And I think that the longer you are in this profession, you experience situations like that. And, you know, quite frankly, I've been on the wrong side of it way more times in my career than I've been on the right side of it. So it just kind of felt good to be on the right side of something like that. And, you know, pretty cool also to see it kind of executed a little bit. You know, every team in the country, you know, for the most part does end of game scenarios. And, you know, we got a chance to work it real extensively on Thursday, kind of for the first time of the year. And it's so ironic how it shows up the very next night. So, you know, just very fortunate to see that. And now our kids got confidence that we're in that situation before that and again, you know what I'm saying, that we can do it again. And actually, a couple years ago in the playoffs versus Acadiana, right before halftime, we had a very, you know, similar type situation. It was more like Jaden Daniels, you know, the one that happened
floating around. I remember that.
You know, Chance kind of scrambled around a little bit. Big Chance kind of scrambled around a little bit and bought some time and ended up hitting, at the time, Lil Chance, you know, in the back of the end zone. So, you know, pretty cool situation, and I'd much rather not be in that situation, but it's pretty cool to see it kind of executed and fold out the way it did.
I got to do it to you, Coach. The last time we had a situation like that in the open air Crow Dome, you were on the other side.
I was on the other side of it.
And, you know, it was again, another well-executed play. Mm-hmm. Feels a lot better on this side.
And, you know, I see Tydo in here and Coach Joe, you know, whenever I make the comment and I say, you know, Hail Mary, they say it was not a Hail Mary. So, you know, people are going to call this Hail Mary, and I'm going to be able to say it was not a Hail Mary. That's an actual play call that we have. So, you know, just pretty cool to kind of see it, you know, fan out.
And, look, it was a game that you kind of had control at times, but couldn't get out of your own way. A lot of penalties, a lot of sloppy play, missed tackles, something that's kind of been just bugging you the last couple weeks. But at the end of the day, you come out with a victory. It's a lot funner to watch film on a Saturday morning with a win, but I got to think that you guys had a lot to work on.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. It was one of those ones where, you know, we always talk about celebrating victories, but it was tough to kind of celebrate and enjoy it, you know. But, yeah, we've got to play better defensively. You know, it's kind of been a seesaw. We've got to be able to play complementary, complete football. You know, I think there's been times this year where we've been really good offensively and maybe not very good defensively. Sometimes we've been very good defensively and not very good offensively. We got to somehow find a way. Now, we're running out of time, you know, but we've got to somehow find a way to figure out how to be able to play good complementary football where we're operating, you know, offensive, defense, and special teams in a championship form.
You alluded to it last week right here on the GP Are You With Me show. But Carson Gursey getting a lot of run last week, 7 or 8 in the passing game for 92 yards, including that game-winning non-Hail Mary touchdown pass that he threw to Brandon Duffy, freshman to freshman connection, Coach. What did you like from what you saw from Carson, and is that really in the plans moving forward?
Absolutely. You know, Carson's his kid's got it all. Talk about intangibles. He has it. He has a lot of it naturally, and then also he works extremely hard personally to develop it to an even higher standard. And couldn't be happy for the kid. Whenever he missed a throw, he threw a foul ball almost to a certain extent when we 2-point conversion versus STM the first game, and it ate him alive. And I said that I'm very happy that you got a chance to experience that in your first varsity game, because there's going to be a time where you're going to have to make the game-winning throw for us at some point in your career. I didn't think it would happen the same year. What is that, 7 weeks later or 6 weeks later? So, but nah, Carson's special and Duffy's special. We've got a couple freshmen that are special and have a chance to be really good high school football players and kind of add to the legacy of Carencro football.
If you're just joining us right now on the Carencro Bears Network, we're live from Pizzaville, USA, just like we are each and every week. Come join us at 114 Derrick Plaza, right off of Veterans Boulevard on Exit 4. Monday night, buy one, get one. Tuesday night, the kids eat for free. Come out and hang out and enjoy Pizzaville, USA, as they sponsor us to you each and every week. And if you want to talk about freshmen too, Coach, and Carson had the great game, but what about Brandon Duffy? He was absent in the first half, gets in the second half, immediately makes an impact on both sides of the field, and comes up huge. 3 catches, 57 yards, and the big one.
He's dynamic, man. He's box office. I think that's a great term to kind of apply to him, to where he's lightning in the bottle and he's very electric. I love the passion and the energy that he plays with. He's kind of got that old school competitive dog and spirit with him. We've got to get him to understand how to do that on a day in and day out basis, 365 days a year, and we got to get him to be able to do that off the field as well. But that kid is unbelievably talented, unbelievably gifted, and as I mentioned several times since he's been a part of our program, the sky's the limit for him, man. I think he can be not only one of the best players in the state of Louisiana, I think he can be one of the best players in the country. He's very strong in the weight room, even though we hadn't quite got to that point with him. You can see he's got a lot of natural strength.
I
very
told him,
powerful and explosive. He's got it all.
I told him after the Sam Houston game, I said, son, I don't think you realize how good you can be.
Yes,
I said, I don't think you have any clue how good you can be. And look, we've been talking all year long, running back by committee, trying to figure out who your guys are, riding the hot hands. I think we figured it out. It's T.J. Jackson and Chris Bayham, and they're a powerful 1-2 punch. T.J., 12 for 75, and Bayham chipping in 11 for 69 yards. That's pretty darn good.
Yes, sir. Look, those two kids work hard. And they give the program everything that they got on a day in and day out basis. TJ unfortunately didn't get to play a year ago, and I wish he could have, because I think that he would be a lot better off had he had a little bit more competitive hours, behind him. And Chris Bayham is a young man who has always worked hard, competed, and done things the right way, and just kind of happy to see his hard work and his success pay off for him.
On the defensive side of the football, you were led by the mainstay. Brian Immune is a magnet for the football, and he had 17 tackles, 7 unassisted, and 10 assisted tackles as well. After having an off week for the most part against Sam Houston, especially in the first half, he was flying all around the football field.
Yeah, he's a kid that I'm more so extremely proud of the way he has grown and developed off the field. He's one of the leaders within our program, and he's just come a long way since when I first met him as a freshman. And I'm just very proud of the maturity that he's possessed, have kind of generated and developed, and wish him nothing but the best as we finish off this season and finish off his senior season.
And we're going to get into the 2 big matchups to finish out the year. But, look, if you're going to compete in those 2 games, 11 penalties for 82 yards is not going to cut it.
No, sir, not at all. Not at all. We've got to be better. It's kind of something that's been kind of killing us all year. I guess, I've always heard people say that when you're young and inexperienced, you get a lot of penalties. Well, I guess we continued that assessment, this year. But we're working to correct it. It's something that's been emphasized since day one, but comes down to executing and doing it the right way out there on the field.
And you are able to honor 10 seniors. It was senior night in the open-air Crow Dome. Small class, but impactful. The top 5 or 6 guys give you run each and every week.
Absolutely, and I'm very proud of these guys. Their freshman year, unfortunately, we didn't win any games, and we always tell our kids that – you're defined. Your legacy in high school is defined by your freshman year and your senior year, because that's the years where you have full ownership of the team and the program. And, they've already, improved their win total from when they were freshmen by 4 games, with the opportunity to improve it even more. And, so I'm very proud of those guys and happy of how far they've grown and how far they've come up, and really appreciate all the hard work and the sacrifices that they made. I know Coach Corville, who got the chance to spend 3 years with him as well, would echo the same things, and I know that he's very proud of the growth and development that they've shown, and Coach Mikey as well. Every coach that's been a part of these guys, Coach Pierce and Coach Lane, anybody that has been a part of their journey, I know they're very proud of where they are now versus where they were when they first came into the program.
Look, we're still riding the high of Coach McCauley night, too. I mean, it was a cool experience a week ago right here at Pizzaville, USA, and then he carried on into the open-air Crow Dome. Talk about the way, when he was able to talk to the team prior to the game and just being a part of everything. How cool was that for you guys?
Man, it's pretty cool, man. I wish we could hire Coach McCauley, man. I want to hire Coach McCauley on staff, man. I mean, I was fired up, man. Love the way he speaks, love the way he interacts. He is sharp, man. You know what it came off to me? It came off to me like a guy that still got the fire to coach the game of football. It's just that, probably the position that he's in right now in his life is probably just not something that he's willing to do. But, man, he's still got it, brother. He still got it, and I definitely see why he's honored and acknowledged at the level that he is. What a special man.
Were the kids receptive to him? Does he still relate to the kids? Is it automatically coming into the room?
Oh, absolutely. No doubt, man. No doubt.
You don't go away, huh?
That question has been asked since I've been here at Karen Crow. Could Coach McCauley still coach today? Absolutely, he could coach today. It takes the right group of leadership of people, to be able to back him, and support him in how he would operate. But absolutely, Coach McCauley can still coach today, and he'd be one of the best ones today, just like he was back in the day as well.
So you don't get to do this again, but I get to do it every week. I get to look ahead at the playoff brackets. I get to look at the PowerPoints. And I can tell you that, look, we moved up, right, to 20 from 23. I'm confident. I'm not telling you to take it to the bank, but I think we're in the playoffs now, Coach.
Okay.
We're playing for seeding, and we have an opportunity to do some heavy damage with the last 2 weeks of the season right now. But, look, just looking ahead, and, again, I get to do that. It's kind of fun from my standpoint.
Yeah.
But coming into the 20 spot, you play Riverdale in the first round, and then you would be matched up with Catholic High Baton Rouge in the second round. That feels like a much better draw than coming in somewhere else.
Oh, man, I don't know, brother. Hey, that's for you and everybody else on Facebook and Twitter and all of that.
You can't even bite, Coach. I can't even get you to bite.
And the group text messages, man. I'm trying to focus on getting kids to show up to school in the right dress code and work hard and go out there and execute a game plan, man. I ain't looking at no bracket and figuring out who we going to play. I mean, that thing going to change 100 times between, now and when that time comes, I think I mentioned this early in the year. I learned this from Coach Davidson way back in the gap. Well, not way back in the gap, but within, my early years of coaching, that when you watch the bracket, you end up watching the bracket. Whenever the LHSA releases it on that Sunday and we eating KOK in the coach's office, that's when we'll start, looking at the bracket. And we're not going to look at it and figure it out who we be playing this week or that week. Whoever our opponent is that week, we're going to prepare for it. And like Coach Corville would say, win, advance, repeat. That's always been our mindset when it comes to playoff time. But we've got a long ways to go before we get there. We've got a big team and a great program that we got to play this week. And after that one, we got a legendary and iconic program that we got to play the following week. And hopefully we're playing them for a district championship.
Head on out to courtesyvalue.com to vote for the toughest players of the week. Your Crow Bears have 2 guys up for the award this week. Carson Gursey, 7'8", 92 yards. Of course, the one big touchdown, the 41-yard Hail Mary pass to Brandon Duffy, walk-off win for the Golden Bears. And Brian Immune, 17 total tackles, 7 solo, 10 assists to go along with a tackle for a loss. Head on over to courtesyvalue.com and get your votes in for those 2 Karen Crow Bears. Coach, we're going to take a quick break. I'll have you at the last segment. We'll get to turn our attention to the Southside Sharks. I'm excited about that matchup. proud program.
Absolutely, no doubt, man. I got a lot of respect for that program and what they've been able to accomplish in the short time they've been in existence as a school. And Coach Fontenot did a great job of getting the program started and established, and Coach Curtis has done a tremendous job of keeping it going. They have a good, strong foundation. They have a lot of resources in the area and the community that they're in, and they've just done a phenomenal job. So looking forward to it, and I know it's going to be a great night of high school football.
When we come back, we're going to have the 2024 Teacher of the Year at Carencro High, Braxton Hartshorn, join us, and we're going to talk about all thing ag department, a little bass fishing, and what's going on his side of the world at Carencro High School. You can all catch it right here on the Carencro Bears Network. Hey, Blaine Viatar, voice of the Carencro Golden Bears here. You can join us each and every week for the GP Are You With Me Carencro Coaches Show live from Pizzaville, USA, 7 to 8. Either catch us on the Carencro Bears Network or come join us live here, right here in the Derrick Plaza at Pizzaville, USA.
No doubt about it. It's helped the whole community. When we went to the state championship in '92, it brought the whole community together. I care about the school, I care about the community, and I love the team.
You see Jimmy Brasseau's love for Carencro football in the sign outside his service station. You see it in the bear paws painted on his driveway.
I just went walking around the Crow Dome just the other day. I wanted to talk to the Golden Bear to hear what he had to say. I asked him how his life had been with all the hype and glory, and he replied, "It's been just fine, but you know all that story."
Are you ready to launch your future? Welcome to the Academy of Information Technology at Carencro High School, the premier magnet academy for cutting-edge education in computer science, information technology, and media arts. Dive into a world where your interests come alive. In AOIT, you'll explore technology like never before, mastering essential skills in HTML and Python, while gaining hands-on experience in daily TV production and innovative media projects. Our partnership with LSU and affiliation with the National Academy Foundation means you'll receive top-tier computer science education. Imagine leaving the academy with industry-standard credentials from Microsoft, Adobe, and CompTIA, plus a stunning portfolio that showcases your skills. Don't just dream about the future, create it. Follow your passion in tech and join AOIT today. Apply now at LafayetteChoice.com/apply. Your future starts here.
Welcome back to the Carencro Bears Network. We're live from Pizzaville, USA. This segment, though, is powered to you by the Ground Patty, 505 West Pond de Mouton Road. Thursday night, steak night. Friday night live music, and Sunday bottomless mimosas. A lot of fun had at the Ground Patty. I heard they have a pretty good special on Friday nights too, and I think Seth Dickerson might go there from time to time after school on a Friday afternoon. I'm thrilled. They keep putting amazing people side by side with me each and every week, and this week's no different. We have 2024 Teacher of the Year, Braxton Hartshorn, joining me right now, and this is a guy who wears many, many hats at school, and you got your flowers. You got to be Teacher of the Year. How cool is that, and what does it mean to you?
It's definitely a cool situation. I'm in the situation that I don't feel like I deserve it. I know that there's a lot that goes into it, and I couldn't do it without, my parents, my wife, definitely making sure that what I can't control is something that I don't worry about. And it's truly an honor to be elected as Teacher of the Year.
Well, look, this kind of stuff don't happen by accident. You don't get to places like this in your career without a lot of effort. So what's your story? How did you end up with us here at Karen Crow, and how were we blessed with your presence?
Actually, I ended up at Karen Crow. I've made a community here at Karen Crow. But to begin it all, I figured out through my student teaching that I didn't want to be a teacher. I graduated LSU in 2018. I had full intentions to go back home to Texas. I actually went back to my hometown and student taught. That was a big mistake. But I did what I needed to do and figured out that teaching may not be quite right for me. So for 3 years, I worked on a poultry farm. I produced eggs for the state and surrounding states. Then I figured out that wasn't for me, so I had 1 year left on my teaching license. I called the FFA director, Louisiana FFA director, and there was a job just opening as I called, and I actually think I talked to Ms. Knott, and within the week, I was at the school board. Within 3 days, I was in the classroom, and it was hold on tight.
Miss Knott will sell anybody. She's just great, and she's phenomenal for the culture here. We're blessed to have her at Karen Crow High School.
Absolutely.
Look, Mr. B, you're a favorite, fan favorite. Inside the press box, listening to you over the loudspeaker of all the students being brought up throughout the process of senior night. There was one name, well, there's two names, you and Miss Phyllis, let's be fair, that kept getting brought up. But, time and time again, was Mr. Hartshorn. And, you got a great relationship with these kids. What does that mean to you, and how were you able to kind of become that favorite?
I don't ever think I strived to be the favorite. I was just myself. I was genuine with these kids. I hold them to a higher standard as an adult. The first thing that I tell every student that comes in my classroom is I treat you like an adult until you give me a reason not to. And I think just being that transparent, being that honest teacher that's consistently there every day for them it makes a world of difference with these students.
Well, you're wearing your cowboy hat when you got here, but
it's always within range, It's here.
But you wear a lot of hats over at school: FFA, 4-H, mascot coach, bass fishing coach. Oh yeah, you also teach full time during the day. When do you have time to do anything else?
If you ask my wife, I don't. Luckily what I do fits together in a way that I overlap a little bit of administrative responsibility but for the coaching aspect of it, it really coincides one and then the next and then the next.
Well, you're creating an atmosphere and a culture here at Karen Crow. It's not leads the charge, but you have so many new opportunities with inside the ag department for the students.
Absolutely. We try to make sure that each student that, has something that they're interested in, that we get as close to that interest or help them find a new interest within agriculture. I mean, agriculture is our world. Growing plants, growing animals, learning biological processes, and it can be interesting because I can also put it in the hands of the student and help them create something or find something that they like to do.
Investing back in the school, you see all these beautiful facilities coming up, especially athletics. But you getting your own. You're going to have a brand new livestock barn. It's already approved by the school board. They're going to break ground this year. That's pretty darn cool.
Well, I keep hearing this, your barn, your barn. It is our barn, guys. It was not something that I did by myself. Ms. Knott, the administration, the school board, our school board reps, they stepped up and helped us. It's not something that one person stood on a podium and asked for and got. It's so much that went in behind it. It is absolutely amazing at what the schematics look like on this barn.
So what can you fit in this barn? What are we going to have in this barn, and what's it really going to do for the school?
I'm a big dreamer. No one has ever told me I'm not the dreamer. It is a 15,000 square foot barn, or close to it, as we get through the building plans. And we can fit a lot of different projects in that barn, from goats, sheep, cows, chickens. If it's designed to be a multifunctional place for multiple different projects.
And what is your specialty? If you're going to show animals, I'm assuming you grew up showing animals. So what was your specialty? What do you like to show?
So what I like to show is cattle, specifically breeding cattle. What I'm good at, I ended up finding at the end of my college career, actually found a wife in the whole program was poultry, or chickens. Ended up judging chickens, ended up going to the International Poultry Judging Contest, and my wife coached me along the way. She had already been a part of the winning team, and she created a winning team with us. And so not only does my career have a basis in agriculture, but everyone around me, even my wife.
Got to have a strong team.
Absolutely.
Got to have a strong team to support you. Mascot coach is pretty cool, and I really love the new mascot, the new Brutus uniform that we got. I think it's cool. Looks more modern. I think you got a few different students wearing the mascot costume throughout the year. What insight do you give those guys?
They are doing a fantastic job. My ideas and things that came about because of the mascot, they are crushing them hand over fist, one after the other, taking on challenge after challenge, and it really gives them an outlet to express their school spirit, their support of the football team, the support of athletics, and it's gone off flawlessly in the whole situation.
Any chance we get Mr. H in the Brutus costume?
Brutus gains a few pounds when he's conducted by Mr. H. But the good thing is, the way I have set it up, Brutus will have his own personality, his own anonymity, and so it's not about who's in the costume. It's the school spirit and the whole Brutus personality himself.
Love to see it. Bass fishing. Tell me about that. When I was in school, there wasn't a bass fishing team. Seems pretty neat and different, and I think you got a lot of kids that enjoy to come out and join that team.
Absolutely. So bass fishing team came about from a couple of students that figured it out. I have no idea where they heard about it, but they came to me and they said, there's an organization, all we need is a boat and a sponsor. And I said, well, I have a boat and I can be a sponsor. And so we started on a little 16-foot boat last year, and we had started with 2 or 3 students. I was trying to get them into the tournaments as much as I can. And then this year, now we have 6 students on the bass fishing team. We have 3 boats. Captains are dads that support their students in the endeavor of bass fishing. But yes, there's 12 tournaments across the state, and we try to make as many of them as we can and have a blast. Luckily, Miss Knott supports us enough. Fridays before the tournament on Saturdays are practice days.
That's a little, what would you call that? Would you be your scout? Is that a scout day?
It's a scout day.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
I'm getting in there.
And so we go and we do the scout days and we fish the tournaments and we come home.
So you got to tell your wife that you were going to coach the bass fishing club or team, and now you get to go fishing Friday and Saturday. That's pretty.
Friday and Saturday.
I mean, you got to figure this married thing out, man.
Talking about new boats and everything else because it's for work, right? Yeah.
For sure. So tell us about some of those kids. I mean, you guys competing. You said how many tournaments?
So there's 12 tournaments for the bass fishing, or somewhere's thereabout, and we go to most all of the waterways in Louisiana, different lakes, different rivers, that kind of thing. And it's a new challenge every time. You're never going to get the same conditions weather-wise. You're never going to get the same water conditions, and it's constantly changing minute to minute, hour to hour within the day that you're fishing. It's really opened a whole book of knowledge that I'm just finding out about, and slowly learning as we build through.
You talked about those opportunities for students. If they want to reach out to you to talk about those ag opportunities, how could they reach you?
Absolutely. My classroom is in Building 4, room 4114. We have 3 ag teachers. Any of the ag teachers, me, Miss Withers, and Miss Moe, are definitely happy to help them with anything. And if there's something specific as far as mascot or bass fishing, that's something I can help them out with. Just come on by.
Well, Mr. H, I appreciate you joining us. Congratulations again, winning the Teacher of the Year for 2024. Taught me all kind of stuff tonight as well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. We're going to step aside when we come back. Benji Gonzales, offensive line coach, is going to join us, and we'll talk about those big uglies up front right here on the Karen Crow Bears Network. Hey, Blaine Viatar, voice of the Karen Crow Golden Bears here. You can join us each and every week for the GP Are You With Me Karen Crow Coaches Show live from Pizzaville, USA, 7 to 8. Either catch us on the Karen Crow Bears Network or come join us live here, right here in the Derrick Plaza at Pizzaville, USA.
No doubt about it. It's helped the whole community. When we went to the state championship in '92, it brought the whole community together. I care about the school, I care about the community, and I love the team.
You see Jimmy Brasseau's love for Karen Crow football in the sign outside his service station. You see it in the bear paws painted on his driveway.
I just went walking around the Crow Dome just the other day. I wanted to talk to the Golden Bear to hear what he had to say. I asked him how his life had been with all the hype and glory, and he replied, "It's been just fine, but you know all that story."
Are you ready to launch your future? Welcome to the Academy of Information Technology at Karen Crow High School, the premier magnet academy for cutting-edge education in computer science, information technology, and media arts. Dive into a world where your interests come alive. In AOIT, you'll explore technology like never before, mastering essential skills in HTML and Python, while gaining hands-on experience in daily TV production and innovative media projects. Our partnership with LSU and affiliation with the National Academy Foundation means you'll receive top-tier computer science education. Imagine leaving the academy with industry-standard credentials from Microsoft, Adobe, and CompTIA, plus a stunning portfolio that showcases your skills. Don't just dream about the future, create it. Follow your passion in tech and join AOIT today. Apply now at LafayetteChoice.com/apply. Your future starts here.
Welcome back to Pizzaville, USA, live on the Karen Crow Bears Network. I'm Blaine Viatar. I'm joined alongside a special treat for you guys tonight. Mr. Benji Gonzales making his debut on the GP Are You With Me show. And Benji, it's a treat. They've been telling me that I had to get you on. You had to come up here and talk with me. Joey's been texting me since we came up with this concept in the summer. He said, Benji's the guy you got to get up here. So you're finally here. Pumped to have you.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
So you by way of Live Oak and Bellhaven, before you got, where you started your coaching career, where did you actually start your coaching career and sink your teeth into the coaching game?
That's a funny story. I actually started my coaching career in Houma, Louisiana, at Vanderbilt Catholic. I ended up getting the job attending a wedding in San Diego, California, of all places.
So how did you got to go into a little more detail with that one, Coach?
So
Can't leave us
my
hanging.
wife's best friend was getting married, and the guy that she was marrying, his cousin, was the defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt Catholic at the time. And me and him started talking ball and talked about how I wanted to get into coaching. And then a couple months down the road, I think it was in August, his offensive line coach left for a job in Texas and called me up and said, hey, I got a position. Can you take it? And for those of y'all that don't know, I actually live right behind Karen Crow. I was living there at the time, so I said I'd take the job and drove every day to Houma to go coach football.
It was a much easier decision to come back to Carencro, huh? How'd that transpire?
Yes. That's another funny story. So
Was your wife campaigning to save on gas money?
that's actually another funny story. So COVID hit in 2019. The school lost a lot of enrollment, so they had to cut a lot of teachers, me being a first-year uncertified teacher. I was one of the first ones to go. And then a family friend, Lou Cook, over at Notre Dame, was talking to Coach Gavin Peters and told me I was, looking around and, just showed up here one day and introduced myself, and the rest is history.
Hey, blessing in disguise. We're excited to have you aboard. And, offensive line coach, you need a ton of those guys. That's going to be your lifeblood of your program. Coach GP talks about them being the foundation of a program and a team. When it comes to your philosophy on coaching offensive line or your style of offense, what's your, what do you like the best?
I like running the football.
Me and you both, man.
No, I think anytime you're running the football, it creates problems for the defense. If you can run the football consistently, it opens up your passing game. And at the end of the day, I want to stretch the field vertically, horizontally, make the defense defend the whole field. And when you can do that, defenses have problems.
Well, you came on in 2020-ish, so I'm thinking you had a few years of really good offensive line play under your belt. Talk about some of those guys that came through under your tutelage that you were able to teach.
Well, I don't know about that. They were already coached up pretty well by Coach Dwyer and Coach Franchek. I kind of just walked in and got lucky in 2020. They were already coached up. I kind of was just there, gave some insights when I saw them, and just kind of piggybacked off of those guys for a couple years, learning the offense. Coming into it, I was mostly a power spread guy. I, wanted to, run power. I remember preparing for a playoff game. We were in the meeting room, and I said, hey, Coach, the bubble in Twins is wide open. And Coach GP looked at me and said,
who's this guy?
He looked at me and said, what about the bubble in the B gap?
If you're just joining us, we're live from Pizzaville, USA each and every week. Come out and join us. The kids eat for free on Tuesday. It's an amazing deal, but it doesn't stop there. Lunch specials all week long, Monday through Friday, starting for $10. It'll even fill up Mr. Benji himself. Trust me, Coach. I came over here with Tato. I couldn't even finish my pizza and salad. I saw you over there munching down. You got a little girl before you came on?
Yeah, she's coloring right now, but, they got some great food here, man. I love coming here every single time we eat here. Pizza's great. Salads are great. Anything on the menu, can't go wrong.
Oh, look, free plug right there, too, by Mr. Gonzales. So we talk about the offensive line this year. I mean, it's been a weak point. It's somewhere that we struggled very early on. But, look, over the last few weeks, figured something out, went to a more, like Coach GP said, basic offense in the two-back classics, able to pound the football. I think you guys have to be playing with a little bit of confidence. Yes,
most definitely. We made some adjustments. And the great thing about the two-back classics, it's Coach GP said it a while back at a boot-up clinic, it's a developmental offense. The offense just makes you better naturally.
And it gives you an opportunity, right? It kind of lets you play a game within yourself.
Yep.
It simplifies things for the guys up front. Who would you say you're most proud of as far as development throughout the season that's really kind of starting to come into his own?
Most proud of, I would probably say our right tackle, Kamen George. He didn't start out. He was on the defensive side of the ball at the beginning of the year. Brought him back over here to the offensive side of the ball. And really the whole offensive line, I think they've taken steps into becoming a really good unit. Every day I see improvement from those guys. And then I'm looking most of those guys are coming back. So that's another great thing. Another year of getting in the weight room with them. It's going to be huge. So I'm really excited about our offensive line in general.
You know, you talk about an offense that Gavin Peters coaches, and we kind of coined it, the Air Petey, right? He goes from two-back classics to spread in a blink of an eye. Mm-hmm. From an offensive lineman, you have a mentality that you want to go out there and, pound the football, be brutal, be physical. Does it kind of, how do you feel about switching from style offense to style offense from that kind of mindset?
I love it because at the end of the day, whether we're in two-back, whether in one-back, nothing really changes that much for our offensive linemen. Simply put, most of our schemes that we run are pretty much the same. They're just in different formations.
I know Coach GP probably has you trained, and you'll have to answer this question a certain way. But, coming off of a 4-week win streak, a lot of juices flowing right now. I know you look at one play at a time and you win enough plays in a game, you come up with a victory. But when you had a young team that was struggling early on and kind of able to get some solid footing underneath them, that momentum has to mean something.
Yeah, most definitely.
Your guys, do they play with a little bit of chip on their shoulder or a little more confidence in that respect?
I think they do. I think the biggest thing is keeping them focused rep by rep, play by play, and trying to win every single rep and not look at the bigger picture. When you start to look at the bigger picture as a player, it can seem kind of daunting. My grandmother had a great saying, the best way to eat an elephant is one spoonful at a time. So when you're playing in the game, you just got to go by play. And if you go 1-0 every single rep, then eventually you're going to win the game.
Coach, Joey DeWire gives you a ton of trash all the time. You guys are both offensive coordinators. Mm-hmm. Walk us through when it has to come to a decision and, we have a 3rd and 2 play and trying to figure out what to run. What's that conversation like with Coach Joey? It's hard to get him out from under center out of the two backs?
I think we talk about it. I think we have a good chemistry, me and him. Most of the time we're both saying the same thing. We're really good at keeping the flow of the game going, knowing how the offense is performing. So, if we're not blocking the run like we need to, we know we need to probably get the ball in the air. If we're dominating the run, we both know that we need to tell Coach Peters to stop throwing the ball.
Who usually does that?
Oh, Coach Joey.
Probably can't talk about it here on the GP Are You With Me show. But, look, you guys have been together for a long time. You mentioned 2020 and being on that team. Yep. That has to help. You guys have a lot of familiarity with each other, a lot of, comfortability working together. A lot of games are won on Sundays, breaking down film. You guys have the utmost confidence to tell GP when he's maybe getting a little overzealous of himself and wanting to spread the football out a little too much? Man, he got y'all trained up good, dude.
Well, I think we've been working together so long, we almost think alike. Most of the time, in our group messages, we're texting each other something, and a lot of the times we're all on the same page thinking we're about to text the same thing. I know a lot of times in that group message I'm typing something out, and one of us texts something, and I have to go delete the whole message because I was about to say the same thing.
Well, Coach, I know those guys like to trash talk you a lot, but, man, they all have immense respect for you and what you bring to this program, and I appreciate you jumping on with us tonight. And, look, wasn't so bad, huh? 15 minutes went by in a flash.
Oh, I love it. I love coming on here. I love talking, Carencro football. Have me on sooner.
Sounds good. We're going to take our last break of the night. When we come back, GP's going to join us, and we're going to turn our attention to the Southside Sharks right here on the Carencro Bears Network. Hey, Blaine Viatar, voice of the Carencro Golden Bears here. You can join us each and every week for the GP Are You With Me Carencro Coaches Show live from Pizzaville, USA, 7 to 8. Either catch us on the Carencro Bears Network or come join us live here, right here in the Derrick Plaza at Pizzaville, USA.
Are you ready to launch your future? Welcome to the Academy of Information Technology at Carencro High School, the premier magnet academy for cutting-edge education in computer science, information technology, and media arts. Dive into a world where your interests come alive. In AOIT, you'll explore technology like never before, mastering essential skills in HTML and Python, while gaining hands-on experience in daily TV production and innovative media projects. Our partnership with LSU and affiliation with the National Academy Foundation means you'll receive top-tier computer science education. Imagine leaving the academy with industry-standard credentials from Microsoft, Adobe, and CompTIA, plus a stunning portfolio that showcases your skills. Don't just dream about the future, create it. Follow your passion in tech and join AOIT today. Apply now at LafayetteChoice.com/apply. Your future starts here.
No doubt about it. It's helped the whole community. When we went to the state championship in '92, it brought the whole community together. I care about the school, I care about the community, and I love the team.
You see Jimmy Brasseau's love for Carencro football in the sign outside his service station. You see it in the bear paws painted on his driveway.
I just went walking around the Crow Dome just the other day. I wanted to talk to the Golden Bear to hear what he had to say. I asked him how his life had been with all the hype and glory, and he replied, "It's been just fine, but you know all that story."
Welcome back to Pizzaville, USA for the last segment of the night on the GP Are You With Me Carencro Coaches Show live on the Carencro Bears Network. Of course, this segment is brought to you by the Ground Patty, 505 West Pont de Mouton. And it's a blast, Coach. All week long starts with steak night on Thursday, Friday night live music Sunday, bottomless mimosas. Go out to the Ground Patty, get you a burger, get you some fried chicken, and enjoy an amazing atmosphere. Coach, we're going to turn our attention now to the Southside Sharks and Jess Curtis. We'll start with him. I mean, you talk about a guy that pretty much won everywhere he's been. Look, you don't think the Manny Tigers wish they still had that guy? They're 0-7 on the year. I know he had a short stint at Natchitoches Central in between, but the guy's a winner.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm still kind of learning, Coach. I know that he's been very respectful to me in the time that he's been here and in the few times that we've interacted. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for him from watching him from afar. In this great state of football and what he was able to accomplish at Manny. We actually almost got a home-and-home situation the last time we scheduled. We almost got a chance to kind of work it out and put it together, but they ended up finding another opponent and, you know, we moved on. But just a lot of respect for Coach Curtis and what a tremendous job him and Coach Bertrand and the rest of the staff have done of keeping the consistency within the program. You know, they're running the same exact offense that they did when Coach Fontenot was there, and you know they've switched the defense up a little bit, but you know they've done a great job. You know they've done a great job of adapting. They've gotten better and better every week, and I truly have a lot of respect for them as I turn on the tape and I watch tape, and it's one of those ones where the more we watch them, the more and more respect we kind of gain for them. You know, so what a great program they have, and what a great coaching job they do.
And over the last few years, I mean, we played some tight games there, and one thing that always stands out to me is the physicality and how well they're coached and how well they play up front.
Absolutely. You know, I think the first time that we played them was the Awana State Championship over there at Turlington, man, and that ended up being a game that came down to the end. I think we might have beat them by maybe 2 or 3 scores, but I think I know we scored one late at the end. And then I think the Following year was another one that we might have beat them by about 2 or 3 scores. That was at Karen Crow. That was Chance Caesar. That was the after state championship. And then the following year, they beat us like a drum at our place, and kind of exposed us. And that was Coach Ben Mouton, who's now at U at the time. He kind of installed a new defense that kind of gave us some fits. And, boy, I tell you what, we prepared for that thing for 365 days, a year ago. And we actually beat them, last year over there at St. Martinville. But every single game has come down to the last possession, or the last quarter, and just a lot of respect for that program, and don't expect it to be anything different this week.
And they're battle tested. They come in 5-2 overall, 3-1 in the district, and their 2 losses though very respectful. I mean, losing to Notre Dame in week 1 of Acadia Parish, and then losing to Acadiana a week ago, smack dab in between 5 straight wins they were able to rattle off. This is a team that seems, that the moment's not too big.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Look, Acadiana has a very elite team. And, when you watch the tape, Southside had a little bit of success against them on both sides of the football at times. Acadiana is just playing at a really, really high level right now. We've got some really good players and also do a great job of coaching and great tradition and, and all of that as well. So, and then Notre Dame, I mean, obviously you talk about, those guys are kind of extended family members of mine. Coach Cook and myself, the son, we talk pretty much every day. And I used to go over there, and every Monday in the summer I would go over there and spend, 2 or 3 hours with, the staff at Notre Dame. So those 2 programs, obviously, I have a tremendous amount of respect for. And they lost Notre Dame by 1, I think, in week 1, and lost to Acadiana by a few scores this past week. But, 2 very respectable programs that they've lost to for sure. And I don't think the fact that they lost says anything negative about them as a team. This is competition. You always get heads. Sometimes you get tails. But I'm very, very, very impressed with them, and we're going to have to play a tremendous level of high football. I told the kids we're going to have to be elite. Winning a district championship is elite. Winning a district championship is special. So if you're going to accomplish something that's special, you have to have elite and special performances and elite special execution.
And when you play a team that's coming off of a game against an offense that can be similar to you, if you choose to run that type of offense, is that something that, you really focus on throughout the week? Does that kind of weigh in on the game plan itself?
It is a little bit of an advantage in that formationally you can kind of get more of an idea of how someone would want to schematically attack it. But they could make changes, right? So, I mean, it helps in a sense, but also in a way, it kind of is what it is, I expect those guys to, have a good game plan for what they want to do on both sides of the football, and I'm not quite sure if playing Acadiana last week has anything to do with it.
When you look at their offense, it's very deceptive. A couple of years back, it was a lot of inline option that kind of ate our lunch. Last year, they would have kind of run that wing tee or, that veer style of offense. Mm-hmm. Coach Kobe Pettis and company been doing a pretty good job of stopping the run inside tight quarters. Seemed like we struggled, though, when folks want to spread us out. Does it help that we're playing a team that really likes to play close to the line of scrimmage?
I'm not quite sure. Once again, I just think it comes down to execution. Southside comes off the ball extremely well. They're very large, and they have very large skill players as well. So I mean, it's going to take a complete, game of football on the defense side of the ball to be able to keep those guys contained. I'm not quite – and look, they make their living in the A and the B gaps, but they still have the opportunity to pipe those things in the C gap and the D gaps and on the perimeter as well. So, I mean, they make you defend, like Coach Benji said, they're an offense that make you defend the entire field, both vertically and horizontally. I think they might have thrown the ball – 23 or 24 times heading against Acadiana, and then they threw the ball 14 times, I think, or 15 times against them last week. So you got to be prepared for everything against those guys, and they do a great job. And that's what good offense is supposed to do, stress the defense out, and we're going to be stressed out again this Friday.
When you look at a game like this, it could be a wild card that comes a major factor, and special teams going to play a big part in it. Like, I'm a huge fan of the change on the kickoff, getting the young freshmen involved there. Is that something that you guys are going to continue to do?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a done deal. We want to be very careful with Matt, no different than we've been very careful with a lot of our freshmen, to where we didn't want to just, overload him with, task. So the deal when he first joined our program was, we need you to kick extra points. That's all we need you to do. We need you to learn how to get the ball through the uprights when we score. We've been putting up a bunch of points the last couple of years. We just thought we were going to continue to do that, So he got to a point to where he's pretty good on his extra points. Then he got to a point to where he was kicking field goals. We just kind of we got to give Papino a break at some point, man. The kid, has just done so much for us since he's been in this program. And, I got to a point, man, where I was just kind of feeling sorry for him, man, that he was just having to do any and everything for us to give us a chance to win, and kind of can see Matt developing. And I saw Matt do one sky kick, man. You know what I'm saying? I said, all right, he's ready to go, brother. He's ready to go. Bad, we can give you a break now, man. But very proud of Matt and the development. And, Matt's one of those kids where I wish we had 100 of them like it. I don't know if I've ever seen someone develop in my career, my 15 years of coaching. I don't know if I've ever seen someone develop, especially at so young of an age, the way Matt has developed from the first day he stepped in foot of this program, which was on a Saturday after the Jamboree. He just showed up at the school. I talked to him, I think, in class on Friday, and he was there the next day on that Saturday. I've never seen somebody develop and grow as much as that young man has in that short period of time. And I'm very excited to see him in future years, with more confidence, more strength, more maturity, both physically and mentally. I think he's got a chance to, be one of the great ones that have come through Cameron High School.
Speaking of CBAB getting a break, I think he really turned the corner over the last couple of weeks. Even if the statistics didn't show it, he's playing better football, he's playing more confident football, and he's playing more with a little bit of swagger. I think Coach Kovac said it on the broadcast last week or the week before. He had an opportunity just to run out of bounds, and something that we saw from him over the beginning of the season, but he lowered that shoulder, got 4 or 5 more yards that we needed. That's the CBAB that we needed to see down the stretch.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Look, the kid has been a blessing to this program since the day he stepped foot in it. And, I think I might have mentioned this a few weeks ago, man. I'm kind of happy that he's kind of faced a little bit of adversity this year, because it's just been all peaches and cream since he stepped foot in it, man. His freshman year, he comes out and he's breaking every record in the history of the school, and at the receiver side, he's playing 10 different positions and on a team that is that close to playing on the carpet for a state championship. And then last year, man, what we were able to do offensively, and broke every record in the history of the school at the quarterback position, and got the team off to an 8-0 start. And, we lost 3 games that year, 2 to Acadiana, and both of those were one-possession games, and lost to Archbishop Shaw, who lost in the semifinals and got a chance to play for a state championship this year. So, everything has been so high for Chance, since he stepped foot in the program. So I'm actually happy that he's kind of been able to experience a little bit of adversity this year, because we all need to go through a little bit of something to take the next step. Sometimes you got to go through some deep valleys to climb the next mountain. And, I'm fortunate that he's been able to overcome the things that he's, been through this year, and I got a lot of respect for that.
I remember you and Coach Joey DeWire and I had a conversation, I think over at our favorite watering hole after a game a few years ago. And I said, man, does this team know how big this next game is? And he said, Blaine, they have no idea. Every team's different, and this team doesn't – they just don't – not that they don't care, but they just don't know.
Yeah.
What is the identity of this team going into the last 2 weeks of the season, 2 biggest games of the season with the district championship on the line? Does this team understand and know what they're playing for?
I think so. I think so. I think that Eric Narcisse kind of called me earlier today, and he asked me what the confidence level was like. And I said, I think the confidence is relative to where we are right now as a team. I think that if we go out there and take care of business this week, I think that confidence level takes another step, But in order to get championship level confidence, you have to have championship level victories. And I think Sam Houston was a good start in that direction. But if we're going to accomplish the goals of this program, okay, which is to win a district championship, practice on Thanksgiving, win 10 games or more, compete for a state championship, we've got to be able to win games like this Friday. And, the Raleigh situation, I just mentioned this a couple minutes ago. We had really good years the past 2 years. A lot of that production on the field is gone, okay? This is a brand-new team. This is pretty much a brand-new program in a lot of aspects. 8 new coaches, 6 first-year coaches. we need games like this, and we need to win games like this in order for us to learn how to play championship level football. Even though some of us have been a part of it in the past, this is new. This is new. This is a new team, and this is a new program, and we need to win games like this to take that next step and learn how to win. No different than when I first got here.
Well, Coach, it was another fun one tonight. I enjoyed so much talking to Benji, talking to yourself, talking to Mr. Hartshorn, kind of getting to know a little bit deeper into the Carencro culture again and again. Something special is brewing here at Carencro.
No doubt, man. We got lots of respect for Mr. H and what him and Ms. Withers do for the ag department. And Coach Benjamin Gonzales, man, I mean, that's one of my best friends, man. His wife probably wants to block my number sometimes, for all the times we're always having conversations, But, what a phenomenal coach that he is. And I truly, truly enjoy going to work with Coach Gonzales every single day, and he's another blessing to this program. And phenomenal coach, phenomenal guy, man. Shout out to my boy Benji.
Thank you very much for GP. Also, Mr. H and Benji tonight for joining us on the GP Are You With Me show. I want to thank our guy who makes the magic behind the scenes each and every week. Boy, he does a special job. Seth Dickerson, the director of AOIT, our guy Benji Desatel, Colton Hebert, and Ross Noel, class of 2024, who keeps putting out fire content on social media. Also want to thank our fine sponsors, Pizzaville USA, as well as the Ground Patty. Coach, Tuesday night, have to do it again. We had Halloween this week. Next week we play on Thursday. Same time, same place right here from Pizzaville, USA.
No doubt. Looking forward to it. And I guess I got to challenge my boy Seth, man. I guess we got to find out a way for people to be able to call in and ask some questions, brother. So maybe that's the next step to take Carencro Bears Network to a higher standard.
Next week would be a great week to ask people to call in. I'm sure it'll be spicy over here with big rivalry week against Acadiana. Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with Mr. Jimmy Bras's family and friends, a pillar to the community, and a huge part of this Carencro football program. We're going to close it out tonight with you, Mr. Jimmy. You're in our thoughts and prayers. We'll see you next Tuesday right here on the Carencro Bears Network.